got to be honest, I think that a lot of the time they don't seem to like you.
There's a lot of hard work and it's blood, sweat and tears. I don't know, if I suddenly get a guitar out, is it believable?
23.
Well, that's really shit.
This is Your Welcome America presents Totally Scott Lee. Episode 5. I am Ben.
I am Fraser.
Fraser like razor.
And for the next 3 weeks, we're recapping and reliving the MTV UK classic reality show, Totally Scott Lee. And you can watch along with us because the episodes are still on YouTube.
Still?
Lisa has not had them ripped down just yet.
She's in negotiations. She's trying to tear them off the internet. Okay, for the uninitiated, we need to tell you what Totally Scott Lee is about. It follows Lisa Scott Lee from pop supergroup Steps as she tries to forge a solo career. Along for the ride are her family, the other Scott Lees, manager Nath, and of course, Michelle Heaton. Okay, Fraser, what happened in episode 5? Quick recap, please.
God, what didn't happen? I mean, we started at Caffe Nero, we challenged gender norms, a wasp attacked people, a song got recorded, and we shot 2 consecutive music videos.
In one day.
In one day.
In one day.
In the same aeroplane hangar.
I don't know. I don't know how they do it. Okay, before we properly get into it with the whole episode, we've had an email. We've had an email from Julie. Julie O'Donnell said, so in the latest podcast, which was episode 4, Fraser isn't sure where he's got the name Nicola from for, as Julie says, for the manager lady. And now Julie says, probably way off the mark, but could Fraser be thinking of the reality show Katie and Peter?
Always.
Where they had 2 managers, one called Nicola and one called Claire.
Claire Powell.
Claire Powell. And Julie says Nicola and Claire both had a similar energy, e.g. arms folded, sunglasses on head. And Julie's saying that Nicola and Claire have the same energy as Nicola and Totally Scott Lee.
Right.
Okay, got it. And then Julie says, I've never been a fan of Steps. Didn't even know that Lisa Scott Lee had a solo career. And I've not watched the Totally Scott Lee series, but your podcast is amazing.
Wow.
Oh.
Well, she really must enjoy this bullshit we're talking about because that's a lot of things you need to know for this. So
Julie, thank you for being on board until episode 5 at the very least. She might not tune into this one.
Yeah, she might have dropped off.
Yeah, dropped off after Ep 4.
We recommend, just looking into the two good Lisa Scott Lee singles. Lately, a shaman down, baby. And what's the other one?
Too far gone, it's a scone.
And I like it with jam and
cream.
Not butter.
Okay, sorry. So thank you for getting in touch. Hey, if like Julie, you want to get in touch, there's a few different ways you can do it. Get in touch on Instagram, You're Welcome America. On Twitter, You're Welcome USA. Oh shit, I should quickly check.
Oh yeah.
Wait, so I'm going over to the Twitter section of the You're Welcome America studio where I've got a giant iPad 1. Okay.
And just while we're going over to the Twitter hub, I can just let you know that our email address that Jules dropped us an email on was yourwelcomeamericapodcast@gmail.com.
I love how Julie O'Donnell's quickly become Jules. Whoa, we're up to 40 followers.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
we're a fucking sensation.
Oh, we're really doing it. So, shall we get into it?
Absolutely.
So it's a story of a family. It's a game of make or break. Cause they all know how to get dropped. Lovely Lisa's got that solo, she's already been dropped. Husband Charlie's understanding cause he took off the chop. Was left it to a brother and he was dropped, but now he's hanging by a thread. At least he has Michelle, she still is top of the pops. With Nathan managing behind his brother beyond. It's a nasty game of fame and it don't come for free. No, not when you're Totally Scott Lee.
Okay, it's episode 5 of Totally Scott Lee. First scene I've called Coffee Catch Up at Caffe Nero.
I just called it Caffe Nero at the end of Charlotte Street.
Perfect.
I'm still convinced that this is exactly where we're at in this location.
Well, you should know because the camera crew is positioned across the other side of the street, very distant from Andy and Lisa having their coffee catch up.
I actually wrote at one point, this was shot from inside a bin outside of the Charlotte Street Hotel. I feel like one of those APs is in a bin with a camera just filming them from across the street.
Now, what do you think Andy and Lisa are drinking while they sit at that cold, rickety metal table?
I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that Andy doesn't like coffee, so I think he's having a hot chocolate.
Oh, Oh, okay.
And Lisa is 100% having a cappuccino.
No, she's a latte.
Oh, you think she's a latte
I
girl?
think back in these days, she's a giant creamy latte.
Okay, but I do stand by my theory that for some reason I think Andy doesn't drink coffee and that he has a hot chocolate every time they go to like a coffee shop.
Who do you think paid for this hot chocky?
Oh, the show.
Show. I think Lisa paid for it, but Andy went to get out money, and Lisa was like, "No, Andy, I'll pay for it. Save the receipt. Get the crew to pay for it. It's $3.50."
Yeah. Oh, she's thrifty.
Yeah. So Lisa and Andy are sitting outside, or should I say, sat outside.
Yeah.
Lisa and Andy are sat outside Caffe Nero, and it's the first time, well, as far as we're aware, that they're discussing everything that's happened with the engagement.
Face to face.
Face to face.
Yeah, and I guess on camera is also it's the first time they've talked about it in front of the crew. So it's a lot of Andy. So I don't know where he's got this information from, because Andy keeps saying, well, some people have said that I only proposed to Michelle to keep her happy. Some people, and he's being very cagey about it, but it's Johnny that said that, right?
Well, no, it's Lisa that said that over the tapas and the square bowls.
Oh, of course, because it was. No, because I thought Johnny said Andy told me that he only proposed to her to keep her happy.
Oh, well then...
And then Lisa goes, I'd want to keep her happy. Exactly.
So basically it's both Johnny and Lisa.
But Andy's being really strange. He keeps saying some people.
Yeah, because this episode clearly hasn't aired. They haven't watched the episode.
Exactly.
So, and I don't think the production... I don't think this was back in the day where producers were really like in everyone's ear. Like,
No.
like, do you know what I mean? So I'm a bit confused about it.
This show didn't need that kind of sneaky guidance. They were delivering it all by themselves, weren't they?
And then Lisa replies, well, I think some people were just being sarcastic.
Yeah.
So she's kind of referring to herself, I think
so,
there.
yeah.
Now, something I want to point out in this scene is that the vocab, okay? So Andy, and there's a lot of at the end of the day,
Yeah.
the phrase, is used a lot. It's a lot of well, the thing is, when it comes to marriage, well,
Yeah, at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, how many times do you think the phrase, is said in this scene?
Ooh, 3 times.
The correct answer is 6.
Oh, Jesus.
In this one tiny scene, the phrase, well, is used 6 times.
Oh, this is I found this scene very strange. It was, it's like, oh, Andy needs to grovel down towards Lisa, but again, he's not in the wrong. So, and I feel like she's run out of steam by this point, hasn't she? So she's kind of just cradling that big latte, and she's kind of just, the moaning is really just petering out at this point, isn't it? She's like, oh yeah.
I'm also confused because previously the gripe was that Andy and Michelle hadn't properly told the family that they were engaged. But now it sounds like the gripe is coming from Andy. And Andy's saying, well, I hear people are saying that I haven't got engaged for the real reasons.
Yeah,
so it's
I'm not actually happy. It's snowballed into something completely different, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Which is weird, because that's kind of the subtext of what they were talking about, but I don't know if it's ever been the overt text, but I guess at some point it's been mentioned to him by someone.
I liked your phrase, overt text.
Yeah.
Is like as like the
What's the
counterpoint.
opposite? What is the opposite of subtext?
I don't know, but
Just text.
Just text. There's a really great phrase here or just a great moment, probably the best moment in the scene, where Andy says, I do want to be with her, and, I think we've got a good future together. And Lisa just says, good.
No, he ends it. He says, and I am happy. Pause. Good.
And she takes a sip of her giant latte.
I made a note about Andy's outfit in this scene, wearing his brown leather jacket with his jeans. And I made a note that I would definitely wanted that outfit in 2005.
Yeah.
I wanted every element of that outfit.
It's like that brown leather jacket with that very specific collar, that kind of square collar. It's a little bit shiny. His jeans, I think they might be from Fire Trap.
Oh, you think so? I was thinking maybe they were a Diesel.
Oh, Fire Trap or Diesel. Distressed.
Yeah.
A little bit grubby. It was that whole kind of I don't know, as if everyone at that time wanted to look like they wore jeans to work on a car.
I remember ripping my own jeans and my mum being really annoyed at me at the time. She was like, why would you want to buy clothes that are already ripped?
And you're like, you don't get it.
Understand.
You wouldn't get it.
And then obviously one of the points that comes up is, he says, I'm not just marrying her for the money for the OK deal. Mm-hmm. And then he says, I've got the panto and that's 40k. And Lisa's like, yeah, that's good, the panto. It's hard work though.
Well, okay, question with the 40k.
Yeah.
So Panto. This is pantomime for American listeners. I feel like there's probably one American listener at this point for this offshoot of You're Welcome America. Thanks for being with us. So pantomime, it's a Christmas show at a theatre that happens every year, like a Cinderella or Peter Pan.
Yeah.
It's on stage. We won't get into it. Now, Panto, how many weeks is that? Is that from like beginning of December to the first week in January?
Yeah. No. They go through, I think they go a couple of weeks into January.
So it's 6 weeks?
Something like that.
So 6 weeks work. You're doing...
Two shows a day. At one point later on in the episode, I heard 3 times a day.
No, but that's them talking about Starlight Express. So we're talking, I would say 7 shows a week, because you wouldn't do one on a Sunday. You maybe do every other day. You've got that matinee and a Saturday.
Yeah.
So he's doing 7 shows a week for 6 weeks, and he's getting paid $40K.
I thought you were going to give me a breakdown of how much he was getting per show.
Oh, okay, hang on.
You and I just stared at into each other's eyes and like with a look of panic in both faces.
Okay, 7 times 6 is 42. So he's getting less than $1,000 per show.
Oof. They are, and Lisa's she's not wrong. They are hard work.
They are hard work.
It's very energetic, and
because you've also got rehearsals. And also, is this before tax?
Who knows?
Must be. And also, is manager Nath getting a cut of this?
Probably.
Yeah, he's probably in it.
Yeah. Well,
He's probably back at buttons. He's so buttons. So anyway.
Okay.
At the end of the scene, Andy says, I'm getting 40K for the panto. Then Lisa says, it's fucking hard work, so don't rush into it. Talking about the panto or marriage. Both?
Bit of both.
Bit of both.
So next up, we have a scene. What did you call this next scene?
I called this next scene, Misha and Andy go round Lisa's.
I called it gender norms.
Oh, lovely.
So, I wrote at the top of this scene, because basically what we have is Johnny and Andy in the back garden having a kickabout, and Michelle and Lisa are making lunch. More of a brunch, really, isn't it?
More of a brunch.
And I said this scene would be so much better if it was Michelle and Lisa having a kickabout and Andy and Johnny making brunch. Love to see the small talk between Lisa and Michelle where they kick a football around.
Well, and we know from later in this episode that Michelle's sporting prowess pretty spectacular.
Well, that's what happens when you wear parachute pants to a golf course. But anyway. So I don't know if you noticed, but Andy was wearing like a wrist cuff in this scene. I was very intrigued by it.
Now, he also... I noticed this wrist cuff later. So we're in the year 2005.
Yeah.
Now, early 2000s, those kind of sweatband wrist cuffs were a big deal. I wore one heavily in 2003.
Oh, so you're saying you were ahead of the trend?
Oh, well, I just think 100% ahead of the trend. And I think he's behind it. Because I don't think people were wearing them in 2005.
No, maybe. When was university again?
Well, I don't know. I didn't go to uni with you.
Maybe we started the same year because I took a year out.
Oh, you did that gap year.
I did.
Yeah, okay. I started in 2003.
Yeah, well, there we go then. So, yeah. Yeah, no, you're right, actually. I wore them in like 2004, I think.
Oh, okay.
Maybe like second year. I definitely had a couple of sweatbands from Top Man.
Yeah. But 2005, I think they were gone by then.
I had a more sophisticated look by my last year of university.
Sure. Also, notably, in terms of clothes in this scene, Johnny's wearing, do you remember those early 2000s polo shirts?
Oh, yeah.
Those, like, distressed polo shirts. You'd pop the collar on it and you maybe layer it with a tee underneath.
Yeah, it looks very Hollister, doesn't it? High end would be Hollister,
but
low end would be like Burton's menswear.
But it was pre-Hollister.
Right, so do you think it was Burton's menswear?
Probably Burton's.
Yeah.
And all those kind of pastel colours.
Yeah. Blue ink, did you have that store?
No.
Shop? Store. Look at me.
Shop.
Talking about a store.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were just saying there was a shop just called Shop.
No. Did you have shop?
Just we had shops. We did have shops up in Scotland. Yeah. No, we had USC and we had there was something that wasn't
Madhouse. We had a shop called Madhouse.
I remember Madhouse, but I don't quite remember what that was.
Madhouse. The interior of our Madhouse store looked very much like the industrial zone from the Crystal Maze. There's a lot of like metal, that like metal thing with like the bumps on it. There was a lot of that on the walls and like blue neon kind of lights. It really looked like that.
I feel like Shoe had that aesthetic for a while. Do you remember Shoe?
Yes, I do remember Shoe. To our one American listener, the reason we're pronouncing Shoe like that is because it was spelled SCHUE. Oh, maybe there was an H at the end.
All I know is the first half of the word was very...
Anyway... Oh. So they're just talking about the kind of potential of Johnny having to extend the Starlight Express tour. And Andy says one of my favorite lines where he says, you know, he's talking about Pantone being like, oh, it's going to be quite like hard work. And then he's talking about Starlight Express and he's like, well, I guess it's hard work because you're on skates all the time, aren't you? And he's like, but you're looking good to old Johnny. As we know, Johnny's lost somewhere between 1 pound to 10 stone, according to Lisa and everyone else around him.
Because he's doing those 8 shows a week for Starlight Express. Yeah. That's eight roller workouts a week.
That's a lot. That makeup that he has to put on himself melting off every night.
Meanwhile, Mish and Lise. Oh, Mish and Lise.
Mish and Lise.
They're in the kitchen. They're really, like, just really reading that recipe book.
Clattering around as well.
To make that hollandaise sauce.
Yeah, it took me, this whole scene, it was a mystery that had to unfold where I couldn't work out what they were making to start with. Because, first of all, they're looking at a recipe book and they're talking about how they have to microwave a pot of boiling water or something. The instruction was very odd.
It's very, I feel like it starts like they're baking a cake.
Yeah. And then the next thing you see is Lisa pulling out the grill tray and you see some sausages burning. So I thought, oh, toad in the hole, because I thought, she's cooking the sausages and then Misha's making the batter and then you combine that together to make the toad in the hole.
Wow, okay.
Have you never made toad in the hole before?
No.
Yeah, you have to like...
The batter. Isn't
Yeah.
it just like mashed potatoes?
No, that's bangers and mash. What are you talking about?
What's toad in the hole again?
Toad in the hole is the Yorkshire pudding with the sausages in it.
I've never eaten that.
Are you crazy?
I've never eaten that.
Toad in the hole is so good. I'm going to make you a toad in the hole. I don't even know how to make it.
Well, no, I don't like US sausages. Because you know how the US just doesn't know how to do sausages? It's always like a chicken sausage and it comes in the shape of like a square. And you're like, what?
Well, I'll get some sausages imported on like dry ice from the UK.
That'd
some
be
Walls,
great.
some Walls sausages.
Some Walls bangers.
Some Walls bangers. And I'll make you a toad in the hole.
Did you ever have those sausages that were called Wee Willy Winkies?
That sounds like a Scottish thing to me.
They were like these really thin sausages.
Like a chipolata.
No, because they were longer than a chipolata and thinner, and they looked a bit like dehydrated Wee Willy Winkies.
Like a pepperami.
That shape, but less, that size, but less circular, like this.
Yeah, this brand does not look familiar to me.
Okay, but I don't remember this brand. It was just like a style of sausages. Anyway, I also loved earlier how you said, oh yeah, they've invited them round for brunch. And they're making like sausages, bacon, and a hollandaise sauce.
Well, I feel like there is obviously some attempts at Eggs Benedict that we're not seeing, right?
Yeah.
There's an Eggs Benedict element that we're not getting to see.
Meanwhile, as they're cooking this, something burns and that fire alarm goes off. But don't worry, because Lisa trots over to the back door and she wafts it.
She does. There's a lot of wafting going on.
A lot of wafting of that back door. Sorry, everyone.
I will say the chemistry between her and Misha's, it's awkward as hell, isn't it?
It's amazing.
It's so tense in that kitchen. And Michelle, I have to say, I think she's the one making it more awkward. She's just kind of just standing there, like holding her hair behind her ears the whole time, like not really doing anything.
Well, her outfit and her style in this in general, she's got super straight and long hair. Her hair looks like that dog in the Magic Roundabout.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Dougal.
She's got a real Dougal hair on.
And she's got those kind of striped, like a badger kind of stripe highlights as well, hasn't she? And she's also layered a pink vest top but with like a white tee underneath it. I like to think that's a nod to... it's a long sleeve top actually, isn't it? And I think that's her nod to like modesty. She's like, we're going around to Lisa and Andy's. I'll pop that white top on underneath. Make it more
she's
practical.
She's gonna be a wife soon.
Yeah, exactly.
So she's got to really just, clean up her act.
Did you catch that really depressing part of Johnny and Andy's conversation where Johnny's like, they're talking about Starlight Express and he's like, someone's got to pay the bills and mortgage around here. And it made me feel so depressed just thinking about Lisa and Johnny's mortgage.
I'm not worried about Lisa and Johnny's mortgage.
No.
From Johnny's perspective, I am.
Yes.
But I feel like...
That's what I meant when I felt depressed. I was thinking about his like pittance that he's getting for Starlight Express, and I don't know, because Lisa's sitting on Steps money, which has got to be something, right?
I also feel like Lisa's sensible, not flashy.
She's thrifty, yeah.
I feel like that house is paid in full.
Yeah.
Although maybe they paid... Okay, I've got it.
Okay.
They both bought the house together.
Right.
But the half that Lisa bought, she's paid in full.
And Johnny's still paying off his half.
His half of the house.
Right.
That's what's going on.
Okay.
And I feel like Lisa's done some like good investments somewhere. She's fine.
Dubai, remember?
Well,
she invested in Dubai.
Oh, she sure did.
And then there's that lovely little throwaway line from Andy where he's like, well, you do get to come home sometimes from the shows. You came back from Kent. Did you get that? Did you catch that? Just the thought of, it made me feel so depressed, the thought of Johnny driving back from like Herne Bay Theatre, like driving, along the motorway back to Windsor and being like, oh yeah, I've just driven from Kent.
Do you think he drives...
Maidstone.
Do you think he's so good at it now, he now drives the car wearing his roller skates? Because that's a bit of a death trap.
I think to save money, he just puts his roller skates on and just holds onto the back of cars all the way back to Windsor.
Oh, like Jerry in the Scream If You Want to Go Faster video.
Exactly.
Perfect. Okay, so they're making the food. Note the square plates.
Yep.
Square plates come out. And then Andy trots into the kitchen and sees the girls
doing
making
the
food,
woman's job.
doing the woman's job. And he says, "Oh, this is nice. Back to how it was." And it's really awkward.
It's
isn't
horrible. The atmosphere gets even thicker than it was before.
Nowhere in this scene is there a conversation about the engagement and what went wrong. That's clearly all happened some other time.
Yeah. This scene is meant to be like, we'll get back together and we'll show everyone that we're all in a good space again. But obviously the cracks are still very evident.
And Misha's just very quiet, whisking that hollandaise sauce.
Yeah, she's grinning and bearing this meal, isn't she?
She's not grinning.
She's bearing.
She's bearing. Okay, they then head outside and they sit on big, chunky, heavy garden furniture.
I actually wrote a question. Where do you think this furniture's from?
This is the kind of garden furniture in the early 2000s that could either be really expensive or it could be from Costco.
Well, Homebase.
Oh, Homebase.
Yeah, like B&Q. I was thinking the same. It's either like B&Q or Homebase, or she's paid an extortionate amount of money for it from some, like, I'm trying to think of what a designer garden furniture boutique in the UK would be. And
we wouldn't know.
We wouldn't know.
We wouldn't know that.
Sorry.
Okay, so they head outside and they're all chatting. And I have to say, with that chunky furniture, if it is an expensive one, I hope they cover it in winter.
Yeah.
Or maybe take it inside.
Yeah, well, I think you can get some nice tarpaulin for it and cover it up.
Okay. So Andy has a single coming out potentially the same month as Lisa.
Yeah, October.
So they're concerned about that, and she says, a lot of you-knows going on. She says, well, Andy, just take your time. You got to get it right.
Yeah. And he says kind of like, oh, but, well, if it does come out, maybe I'll, kick your butt or whatever. He says something really lame like that. And she's like, oh, you better watch it. They have like a real limp exchange.
Misha in silence.
Yeah, Misha's still just more and more miserable. Just trying to eat that hollandaise sauce that she's been whipping up for like an hour. She's like, just get through it, Michelle. Just get through it, Michelle.
And then to really cut the tension, a wasp attacks.
So there's a lot of kerfuffle around this wasp. And then I think nothing sums up Lisa and Johnny's dynamic more than the fact that he kills the wasp and then makes a Karate Kid joke and calls himself Mr. Miyagi and says, I could have caught it with chopsticks. And again, it's one of the only times I've seen Lisa laugh in a genuine way.
She loved that joke.
She loved it. She loved that joke almost as much as the computer in the shopping centre.
And then Johnny says, your granddad would have liked that.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, yeah.
I don't know what they're referring to. The joke?
I think all of the above. I think the granddad obviously hated wasps and loved the Karate Kid.
Famously hated wasps. Maybe he died from a wasp sting.
Oh, like in My Girl.
Yeah, exactly. So he actually liked the fact that Johnny killed a wasp.
Perfect.
Of course the dead granddad would like that.
Imagine if they programmed that computer in the shopping centre to tell, with Johnny's voice telling his Karate Kid jokes. Lisa would literally... I don't think she could survive that.
I've also...
What's she wearing? What's she wearing in this scene?
She's wearing a little top, some little denim kind of play shorts.
Her hair's in a quiff again.
Oh, she loves quiff. Pompadour for that one American listener out there.
And then, much like the girl from The Ring that comes out of the well, Michelle's just backed up against the wall with her long hair covering her face. And she's emotionless and just standing with her back against the wall like she's just walked out of the television.
Yeah, what's weird about this scene is that I feel like out of all of them, I would have expected Mish to be the one to make a scene about a wasp.
Well, it's strange. It's almost like she knows that this is Lisa's territory and she can't make a scene also about the wasp because she's just trying to not rock the boat, isn't she?
Well, she just wants to see that hollandaise, doesn't she?
Freeze frame you've just paused it on. That face of misery again.
At the end of the scene, there's a lovely moment where the wasp is now dead, but Lisa doesn't know if it's wasp or egg that's on her arm. And then Andy says, oh, it's wasp blood. And then in unison, Lisa and Michelle just go, oh, don't.
Yeah, that's the one thing Michelle says in this entire scene, isn't it?
I've also I must have seen Karate Kid when I was a child. I don't understand the wasp killing thing.
Oh, no, he was referring to the fact that in a scene, Mr. Miyagi catches a fly with a pair of chopsticks. So and he's saying that he had the
Oh, I
dexterity to
see.
catch
Okay.
the fly. Yeah, it's
Whoa, that is straight content.
Yeah,
that
I was
should
gonna
not
say,
be on our podcast.
I'm a little bit upset that I understood that much of it, to be honest.
Well, I blame your brother.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay, but next
Next up, we're in a learner car.
Now, this is very much a scenelet.
Now, this is the scenelet of scenelets. I don't think it was a learner plate. I think it was a green L. So I think it was for someone who's passed their test. You know, when they give you those plates that
New driver.
new driver plates.
I
So-
don't. I don't think you're right. I think it's a red L.
Hang on.
We're watching the scene again.
Oh yeah, no, it is. It's a red L.
Red
yeah, so
L.
that's just for any American listeners who have watched this scenelet. When you're learning to drive, you have to get what we call L plates, which are white magnetic things that you stick to your car with a big red L on them to denote the fact that you are a learner driver. So it's not like this country where you can hop in a car at 15 and with your friends and go and smash into things. People would know you're a learner, and you have to be with someone over. What is it? Someone over 21?
Who knows?
I've forgotten.
Who's the learner?
Mish.
Okay, fair.
Just think about that Frappuccino scene.
No, that's true. Driven around. I also remember this car. It was like a really fun hard top convertible.
Okay.
Which
What, I was about to say, what brand
I
is
think
it?
it's like a Renault, some sort of Renault car or something like that, or Corsa. But it had a hard top, and you could press a button, the hard top would come off.
Right.
Like electronically. It's
Okay.
a big deal. Great for the British environment.
Yeah, perfect. Along with that patio furniture.
Yeah, because, you know, it does well in the winter.
So at this point, Andy kind of says like, "Oh, that was good. I think that went really well." And Michelle just replies, "Yeah, I think the hollandaise sauce was really good." And he's like, "No, I mean with Lisa, I think it went well." Silence.
Yeah.
That's where we learned she'd made hollandaise sauce, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Until that moment, I still wasn't sure what she was whipping up in that bowl.
Finally, that riddle was solved.
I know, thank God.
Okay, that was the scenelet. Next scene. What you calling it?
I called it recording a terrible song.
Oh, I was more factual. Just Lisa recording electric.
Yeah, I don't
so
like this
this
song.
confirms our suspicion that previously, in previous episodes, she's just recorded a demo.
Lots of demos.
Lots of demos. So this is her. She's, Electric's been chosen as the single that she needs to get into the top 10. She's in the studio. She's recording it.
This scene really is here just to show that she's tired. It's, what time is it?
It's
1:30?
1:30 in the morning.
AM.
Okay, now I'm confused by this scene because
Yeah.
I can understand if you're putting an album together, much like Michelle with Liberty X, you might be in the studio for a long time doing a few tracks or finishing things off. It might run late. If you're recording one song that's been pre-selected,
Yeah.
why are you recording at 1:30 in
Yeah,
the
you're
morning?
not writing it from scratch. You're just following the guide vocal. Touch me, I'm electric.
And also, I like Lisa's schedule right now is not like
Yeah.
like she's doing panto. It's not like she's on roller skates somewhere.
That's true. I'm not really sure about the logistics of this one. It's a mystery we might only get solved if we ever speak to someone who starred in this show.
Get in touch. So yeah, it's 1:30 in the morning. She's recording electric. Oh, she's tired.
I wrote so many keyboards. At one point,
you're right.
Max, the studio, that's Max from Concept, isn't it?
Yeah, so in this scene, we've got Lisa in the booth.
Yeah.
We've got a sound engineer of a sort, another straight white male.
Yeah.
And then we have Max from Concept Records.
Yeah.
Notable that Nathan isn't here.
No, or Nicola.
Or Nicola.
And yeah, Max is sitting in front of a wall of keyboards, and he's kind of just like, they're having a good time, and she's like, oh, Max is smiling. Oh yeah, it's good to see Max.
Max is
smiling.
happy.
Max is happy.
We're all happy if Max is happy.
She's wearing a real Diamante cuff.
She is. Well, it's kind of like her version of Andy's cuff.
Of like the sporty cuff,
Exactly.
but hers is glam.
Hers is glam Diamante.
I wrote down here, did you notice that Max is wearing charity bands?
I
want to
made-
talk to you about charity bands.
Okay, so he is wearing. Well, first of all, he's also wearing a sporty pastel-colored polo, I think. But he is wearing two rubber charity bands.
Yeah.
A yellow one and a white one. Can I remember what they were for? I think one was for a tsunami.
Yellow was Livestrong, the Lance Armstrong one. That's the Livestrong is what launched the rubber charity band craze.
Got
was the
it.
yellow Livestrong one. I can't remember for the life of me what the white one was.
Wait, what was in 2004? There was that big concert. I never remember the name of any of them. There was like Live 8, Earth 8, I think
BB-8?
BB-8.
And of course, by that I mean Big Brother 8.
Big Brother 8, yeah. So I don't remember. I feel like there was definitely a tsunami
Yeah.
around this time. Sorry, that's very disrespectful, but...
Did you have any rubber charity bands
Oh,
when you
of
were at
course I
university?
did.
Yeah, I did. I think I had the yellow one. I had a white one, and I remember having a light blue one.
Oh, what was that for?
Couldn't tell you. I feel like I maybe didn't even buy them from the correct charities. I think I might have bought them from like Top Man or from like just a shop.
What, just for the look?
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't doing it to
Lovely.
support the charities. But anyway, Lance Armstrong has since been revealed to be a liar and a crook anyway, so it doesn't matter. Got nothing to say about Lance Armstrong. Really left me out to dry there, didn't you? Thank you.
Sorry. This is also a scene where Lisa reveals she's the harmony queen.
I wrote down, not sure if there's any evidence to back that up. Have you ever heard a harmony with
Touch
Lisa?
me, I'm electric.
Touch
Touch me, I'm electric. Touch me, I'm electric.
What about Too Far Gone?
Too far gone, been too long.
Wow, we're the harmony queens, aren't we? That was stunning.
Now, there's, it's 1:30 in the morning. It's late. There's a lot of clutching of face.
Yeah.
A lot of her just like, oh, God,
so
sorry. I'm
tired."
so tired.
Yeah, she's really got a cabbage on her head this time around.
We're not getting to that again. I can't do it again. So she's recording the song. She records it.
She does, yeah. She finishes recording it and then she comes out and she calls Johnny because it's his birthday. She calls him on a tiny, tiny little phone.
So he's probably off. Where do you think he is, at the moment for the Starlight Tour?
Leeds?
Leicester.
Leicester,
Yeah.
maybe.
It's also notable that she records the song in 26 minutes. So it's 1:30 in the morning, they start, and it ends at 4 minutes to 2 in the morning.
So do you feel like she just, the only time she had was at 1 a.m. and she just went in and recorded it then?
That's what I don't understand.
Yeah. She doesn't strike me as this kind of gal.
No.
She strikes me as someone that has a good sleeping routine,
I know. So, yeah, she records the song.
Yeah, and then she wishes Johnny a happy birthday, and then there's this strange exchange between her and Max where he's talking about like, oh, at least he understands because he's in the industry too, and she's like, oh yeah, he's like, you couldn't do this with someone with a 9-to-5 job, and she's like, oh, I tried that and it didn't work, and then she goes at the end, just in a really insipid voice, she goes, wish I had a 9-to-5 job. I was like, do you know what? She would excel in a fucking 9-to-5 job. Imagine Lisa Scott Lee working like a real
What would her job
petty
be?
bureaucracy role in a company. Like, I imagine her being maybe in HR.
I think she'd be in HR because something would happen and she'd have a meeting and she'd be like, I'm sorry.
Here's the thing, at the end of the day-
I'm sorry, but wait, that's bang out of order.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you can't do that.
No.
You can't put that stuff in the fridge if you haven't marked your name. At the end of the day, you'd imagine
Yeah.
those petty emails she'd send out on behalf of HR about like the tiniest thing as well. And can't you just imagine her in the HR like department coming in and then being like, hiya, Lise. And she'd be like, hiya. And they're like, you're right. How was your night? What'd you have for dinner? And she'd be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? You could just really imagine it
And
like
she'd
that.
bring in a little packed lunch. She'd have like a Muller Light.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She would definitely have a Muller
She'd
Light.
love a Muller Light.
Yeah, she'd have her sandwiches that she made and a nice Muller Light, and then maybe later on, like maybe she'd have a Nutri-Grain bar when she first got there for
that's
breakfast.
gonna keep her going.
Yeah, or a Belvita.
Vita.
cup of tea and 2 Belvitas for breakfast.
Need that breakfast biscuit. I also really liked in this scene, just at the very end, when she's talking to Johnny on the phone, and she's speaking to Max as well. The sound engineer is just standing around and like jangling his keys as if to say like, I think it's 2 in the morning. I need
Get
to
out.
Can I just go?
She's wearing a very strange top in this scene. It's like a waterfall of diamantes down the front.
Well, she's got to get in the mood for electric.
Oh, well, yeah, maybe that's because she's wearing the cuff as well. So that Nokia, her phone is so old.
Next scene. I've called this. I'm not. What have you called
I
this
just
scene?
put Andy promo. There's a lot going on in this scene.
I've called it Andy Hits the Road.
So yeah, he's driving into Nottingham at this point on his hands-free. Who's he talking to?
I wrote hands-free as well. He's got his hands-free kit. He's talking to Nath.
Oh yeah, and he's saying, wave your hands. I think I've seen you.
Yeah.
They're having some real beige fun over the hands-free, aren't they?
Now, watching all of this, he's going around to various road shows.
Yeah.
And like gigs and things. And he's signing autographs. People are excited to see him. Someone's holding up a sign. I genuinely forgot that Andy was kind of famous.
Yeah, 3SL, like, people were...
It's not 3SL, it's done it. He got into the top 7 of Pop Idol.
Oh my god, of course he did.
Of
course he did. I forgot about that too.
Yeah. Because
Not 3SL.
Not 3SL. Because one of these scenes, it's like a Pop Idol road show that he's
Yes,
at.
you're so right. I'm so stupid.
Oh.
Of course.
Anyway.
And what does that sign say that girl's holding up in Nottingham? It
Is
says,
it
can I lick you?
Yeah.
What a horrible sign.
Well, in these times.
Yeah, true. Exactly. And yeah, and then he pulls in and he's talking to Nath, and they're kind of getting ready to go into whatever venue, and he's on the phone, and Nath's just like having a bit of fun, and Angie just goes, I'm on the phone with Michelle, she told you to fuck off. I love that. Tell Nathan to fuck off. That was a good accent, wasn't it?
That was great. Felt like Mish was here with us.
There's a lot going on in this scene. There's a very strange moment where, as he kind of goes into the building, we suddenly go into lots of shots of him kind of doing promo, and we hear Michelle almost doing like a voiceover.
She's doing a VO.
Yeah, and she's like, there's a lot that goes into promoting a single, and if it's a success, it's a success, and if it's not, it's not. But at least you tried.
Yeah.
And it's just very odd, and it's like scenes of him like, what's this at Trent FM, which
Yeah.
I think that's Nottingham Trent FM, the university.
Oh, lovely.
So it must be the Nottingham University radio station.
That's good.
This whole kind of thing is a lot of just like fast cuts, just to really show that Andy's out promoing, isn't it?
She always hit the road. Yeah, and Michelle's really playing the role of supportive pop star wife.
She really is. Lots of her lurking in the shadows, isn't there?
Yeah, like standing at the side of like the stage, I mean, she knows all about it because she's used to this.
She does. So at one point he's just walking down a corridor, and we've had a couple of good... We had the Jessica Garlick sighting. We had Weatherwoman Sian Lloyd.
I'm sorry, unconfirmed Jessica Garlick, unconfirmed.
It's confirmed. So we had Jessica Garlick, we had Weatherwoman Sian Lloyd, we've had, Ben from Fats and Small.
We've had a reference to What's Her Chop's feet, Joss Stone's feet.
Joss Stone's feet,
Yep.
Noel from Hearsay's mentioned. I think so far in this corridor, at whatever roadshow or performance they're doing, this is where we see the biggest fucking star of 2005.
So they're walking through a corridor that has been built out of cement breeze blocks.
Breeze blocks.
Breeze block corridor. It's real backstage.
Yeah. And the door opens and a beautiful 2005 goddess comes through. And who is that goddess? Wearing she gives Andy a kiss. She's wearing a stunning, just a loose white, tank, as they would call it over here. Nice vest top.
She's got a real fantasy tan on, doesn't
Yeah,
she?
and it's our girl, Rachel fucking Stevens.
She looks like she smells nice.
My baby drives a car.
I think she might be one of the nicest people on the planet. Don't you think?
Have you ever met her?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
I bet she's lovely. I bet she was
Oh.
lovely throughout all of S Club 7. I bet she's lovely now. I bet she was lovely before she was famous. She seems just like a very nice person.
Rach.
Doesn't she?
What's she like?
So I actually did a little bit of research here because I was
Oh.
I was thinking, because he says to her, it's a great crowd. He's just performed at something she's about to perform at.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what do you think she was promoting in 2005? So I looked up what singles she had released in 2005.
Okay.
Tough time for Rachel.
Second album?
Yeah, we're not in Funky Dory anymore.
Wait, what was the second album?
So the first single is Negotiate with Love. The case is closed. I don't negotiate with love.
Okay, what was the next single?
So Good. I do know the song, but every time I want to sing it, I sing, I'm doing so I'm doing so good.
She's the solid member of. She's the Kimberly.
She's the Kimberly of S Club 7, of
Yes.
course. Because actually,
the Kimberly and the Emma Bunton.
even if you watch kind of, Miami 7, she's just wearing a nice pair of jeans and a top, and
she
she
looks
looks
lovely.
fresh and gorgeous.
Oh,
I love Rachel Stevens.
so anyway, Rachel Stevens is there,
Oh, Lord.
and then Nathan and Andy have a little chat about Rachel
I
backstage.
didn't enjoy this.
And Nathan's like, he's trying to set up Andy, be like, oh, what
Yeah.
do you think about Rachel? And Andy's like, I just think
hate-
she's very pretty.
The way he said it, I just think she's very pretty. He said it like a little kid, and it turned my stomach. I just think she's very pretty. You
Yeah.
can tell it's the kind of voice he has to use for Michelle, because he can't talk about other women in front of Michelle, as we find out that golf game coming up.
Oh, and I tell you what, something else coming up with that as well. We'll get to it. Meanwhile, back in the road, he's on the M4.
Yeah,
we,
he
see, we
is.
see a road sign with Bristol, Newport, and Cardiff on it. There's a paper map that comes out.
Yeah,
and
they're really signposting literally for us what is happening, aren't they?
Yep, someone leafing through a paper map. And then they
The
get to
motorway's
another-
closed.
The motorway's closed. How's he going to get to that pop out of the road show? He gets there. Michelle's backstage. She's pouring a Red Bull.
I know. I wrote, this montage is so intense, and then I said, did you see Michelle pouring Red Bull into a wine glass?
I sure did.
But by the end of this scene, you realise it's not just Red Bull in that glass.
Well, she pours the Red Bull into the wine glass, takes a sip, and she grimaces, and I'm like, come on, Mish.
Yeah, like
You-
Red Bull's not that bad. Oh,
And
it's-
also, Mish, you love a Red Bull.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, oh, no,
Oh, it's-
wait.
it's
a
vodka Red
really
Bull.
strong vodka Red
yeah,
Bull.
absolutely.
You know? And then at the end of the scene,
Well,
she's...
before
sorry.
we just real quick, did you notice there was just a real brief flash of a moment of someone taking a photo with Andy, and their friend was taking it on a flip phone, and I thought, wow,
Where's that photo
where's that
now?
photo now, and what does that look like?
So at the end of the scene, I mean, Misha's tired. That Red Bull, you'd think it would have perked her up. But so she's sort of hugging Andy and like, oh, it's been a long day. And she's tired, but she's not happy that some girls were all over him.
No.
But she kind of is.
Yeah, she's quite proud of him, which is sweet, isn't she?
Exactly. And then...
So yeah, they're outside, and what does Michelle decide to do? Give us a rendition of something.
She's had a lovely time. She's had a few drinks. Andy looks stone cold sober.
Yeah, 100%.
He looks very put together.
And I think someone implies, maybe Nathan off camera, like, oh, she's drunk. And he says, oh, no, she's just happy.
And then she's like, no, I'm hungry.
Yeah. No, I'm just fucking hungry. Fuck off, Nath.
I tell you what, a drunken Mish being hungry.
Oh, I'd be so scared of her. You can imagine her in a kebab shop, can't you, at 2 a.m. I just want a fucking doner and chips.
Oh my God. Next scene, what have you called it?
I called this Nicola running shit.
So yeah, your name for this seems much better because I just had video production meeting / Andy and Mish play golf.
Yeah.
So let's split this scene in two for discussions purposes because it does get very confusing.
That's how I organise my notes. I've got Nicola running shit, and then I got the golf stuff.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nicola running shit. Take me away.
Well, I said we really come in hot to this scene. We come in, Nicola's I put she's screaming about money.
She's like, well, 20 grand is 20 grand.
However you split it.
Yeah. So in this scene, it's like the video production meeting,
Yeah.
and Lisa and Nathan are with Nicola and Max and some videographers, I'm assuming, and they're discussing what we're now discovering is a joint video shoot.
Yeah, this much like the hollandaise sauce, this really unfolds over the course of the scene, doesn't it? You're kind of not really quite sure about. You're like, oh, 20 grand. But why are they talking about splitting it? I thought maybe they were like, actually, no, 10 grand is just for the video and 10 grand is for like promo for electric. That's what I thought she was talking about.
Here's the thing. 10 grand for a music video. Fuck. Like...
I know, because do you think that includes like everything? We're talking like, you know, location,
Well, all in.
dancers, like
All in.
editing, post, like all of it.
What gets me about this is, you know, you always hear like, oh, you know, the music industry back in the day when there was money.
Yeah.
So if I heard someone had to make a music video now for 10K, I'd be like, yeah, okay. But in 2005...
Yeah.
I'm
That's
like,
when people still had quite impressive music videos, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I made a few kind of just quick notes here. Everyone's drinking Diet Coke.
Oh my God. So many glasses of warm-looking Diet Coke, no ice.
No.
Because the UK, as well, our one American listener might not realize, the UK, ice just doesn't really exist in the UK.
It does exist. It's just used very sparingly.
Very sparingly. It's almost like gold treasure. Do you know what I mean? Like you might be in a pub and you'll be like, they'll serve you a drink. You'll be like, oh, can I get some ice in that? And they'll give you one ice cube. And to be fair, it's cold in the UK. It's all you need. It's cold in the UK.
I was also very, very confused by the 28 Days Later poster on the wall. Does this video production company also produce the movie 28 Days Later?
Well, they did that on a 10K budget, actually.
Yeah, well, they did.
Oh, okay.
Danny Boyle.
This has actually become a financial podcast.
It
Have you
has.
noticed this? It's almost like finance for media.
So this is when the character that I'm now referring to solely as Von Dutch. So Von Dutch kind of pipes up and says, you know, it was my idea to do the 2 videos in one day. And Lisa's like, oh, so you're the one to blame for this one. And then he goes into I wrote down, wow, Von Dutch really fucked up with this commentary.
Okay.
He basically, go on, tell me what Von Dutch says.
So he says all kinds of things about the difference between making Lisa's video and Andy's video that all boil down to a female artist versus a male artist.
Well, you've made him very nuanced there.
Wait, he says all kinds of words, but essentially to sum it up, he says at the end, well, you know, there are beauty issues with a girl you don't have with a boy.
Yeah, boys versus girls is what he kept saying. Boy and girl videos. I was like, Von Dutch, you need to clean up that vocabulary, my friend.
Well, I mean, you know, it's 2005. Also in this scene, there are more pink polo shirts going on. And I do remember this time, it was that period where it suddenly became like a trend and very revolutionary for any guy to wear pink.
Oh yeah, like real guys wear pink.
Yeah. It was like a real thing.
Because it used to be a gay colour, didn't it? Mm-hmm. I remember I was in fear of wearing pink, so people were like, you just look at yourself wearing pink.
Oh, I am wearing pink. Pink's always been my favourite colour.
Yeah, wow. After Von Dutch, you know, really fucks up with his vocabulary, another character who I'm just calling Rugby Shirt, and he basically says, he's kind of talking about their vision for the music video, and he says he wants it to be, you know, really fun and glamorous and simple. And then Nicola just pipes up and goes, a bit like you, love, to Lisa. And Lisa's like, yeah, simple.
And then they all have a laugh,
Yeah.
don't they? Lisa's very interesting in this scene because you can tell that she's very professional.
Yeah.
And Nath is doing all the talking.
Yeah.
And you can tell she's, come up in the industry at a time where, as an artist, you might not speak up that much.
Yeah.
And you just agree and you're polite and, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. She's. You'd think she would have more to say from what we've seen in the rest of the show, but I also feel like she has kind of realized that her back's against the wall in this situation, and she has to kind of do what they say if she wants it to happen.
Yeah, because they're like, well, if it's 10K, it's 10K, and we'll just make it work. If it's
Yeah.
just, if we're shooting in one location, we'll just make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
I know. I feel bad for her in this scene. Anyway, should we talk about Andy and Michelle going golfing?
Andy and Mish play golf. So, first of all, what does Michelle wear to play golf?
Well, she appears to be wearing the same top combination that she was wearing to the brunch.
The bacon brunch.
Yeah, the hollandaise sauce brunch.
Mm-hmm.
She's also teamed it with what I think may be a Von Dutch cap and just a pair of like baggy, like cargo pants.
Well, no, they're like baggy cargo pant, distressed jeans. They could be from Miss 60.
Yeah, probably.
They are very low slung.
Yes, she's showing off her bum crack in quite a lot of the shots of this scene.
A lot of thong in that golf course. I'm also fascinated that they're both wearing big, loose, baggy jeans and white trainers, translation, sneakers, for a golf outing. On a golf course?
I know, but I feel like this is pitch and putt at most. Not like a full golf course, right? Although they do have full golf sets with them,
No,
don't
it's
they?
like a golf course. They're wearing jeans on a golf course. Oh, they're pop stars. They can do whatever they want.
Do what they want, yeah, when you're a crazy pop star like these two.
Yeah. So, what are they talking about?
So, really, the point of this scene is that Michelle's not happy because we discover the panto that he's in is Cinderella. So he must be playing Prince Charming, and he has to snog Cinderella 3 times a day.
So that's 3 shows a day they're
Yeah,
doing.
she did say 3 times a day, but maybe it's like rehearsal. 1 rehearsal and 2 performances.
1 rehearsal snog.
Yeah.
And then two performances. Well, for the rehearsal snog, do it, but don't use tongues.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But they use tongues in a children's panto.
Oh, yeah. Why not?
Yeah, children have got to be convinced that they're Prince Charming and Cinderella getting off with each other.
They have to buy into it.
So yeah, she's generally just like not happy about that, and she's making it known in this scene. And at one point she says, this is kind of the end of the scene. She's like, I don't like you staying in the same hotel as Cinderella. And she goes, is she pretty? And Andy's just like putting his ball in, and he gets it in the hole, the ball in the hole. How do you say it in golf? I don't know. And he's just like, oh yeah, that's par. And he just doesn't answer her.
And then she's like, Andy.
Now I'd love to know who played Cinderella in that production.
Melinda Messenger?
Oh, I think.
No, she'd be more fairy godmother.
Yeah, I use this term. She's a little long in the tooth for Cinderella in those days.
Yeah, I'm not sure who played Cinderella in that panto, but I have found that Michelle and Andy in 2007 were in Cinderella together.
Oh.
So I think they must have been playing Prince Charming and Cinderella.
Right, so she really put her foot down a couple of years later.
She finally got that snog. If you're going to be in Cinderella, I better be Cinderella. And she was.
Now, we've got a big scene coming up here.
What's a double birthday?
Yeah, we've got a full slapstick scene coming up here.
What have you called this
I
scene?
just called it Mum and Dad's birthday.
I've called it Tony and Jan's joint B-Day.
Oh, lovely. I did actually write B-Day as well.
Now, I'm confused.
Right.
Do both of them share a birthday?
I'm not sure.
What is going on?
They must just have birthdays close to each other. So this seems to be the Scott Lee tradition, doesn't it, to get together for Tony and Jan's B-Day.
Oh, lovely. Now, to get together for that, they're over at Lisa's house.
Yeah.
Lisa's
Popping another champagne.
Lisa is wearing a gypsy skirt.
Yeah, with a piece of blue fabric tied around her waist.
Well, no, it's a tiered brown gypsy skirt that's got bright blue fabric layering.
Oh, that's part of the tiers is the blue. Because I only spied it later on when I could just see it around her waist. I didn't realize it was tiered. So I wrote down, this family loves champagne, don't they?
Any excuse for
Any
a bit of
excuse.
fizz.
I also wrote down, I spy sexy ant.
Well, they're all there for Mum and Dad's B-Day.
So this opens with a weird scene of Lisa standing kind of cooking something, and she's moaning on about how Tony's just said to her, "Oh, look at my little girl cooking." Isn't that really weird, that scene? And she goes, "Dad, I left home 12 years ago."
Yeah.
Weird moment. That's when we smash cut into a daddy long legs scene.
Tell you what, the number of insects and bugs, they're really attacking the Scott Lees. So yeah, there's a daddy long legs. Do they have daddy long legs in America?
I don't know. It feels like a combination of words that you'd try and say here and they'd be like, what?
Yeah, wee willy winkies.
Yeah, wee willy winky daddy long legs.
So there's a daddy long legs and Tony is trying to get it and they're like, Dad, get it. And also, so then he goes to get a newspaper to swat it with. And just before Lisa remarks the newspaper, she does say, Dad, has it been day?
I didn't hear that.
Out of nowhere, which is very confusing. Then he tries to swat the daddy long legs, but the newspaper he's going to swat it with, turns out it's got a picture of Lisa in it. Or of Lisa on it. She was saving that.
She's like, oh, it's a nice picture. I was saving it.
That.
What's she going to do with that? Scrapbook. You know she's got scrapbooks.
Oh, she said, that's me. I'm keeping it. It's a nice picture.
I said Tony swatting the daddy long legs is the most energy I've ever seen him have. He's normally quite a docile character, isn't he? But he really goes for it.
He should have been there in the wasp scene.
Oh, he really should have done.
Yeah, no wonder Johnny fits in so well to the family.
Now, we started off this whole little collection of shows talking about how much they loved that Clinton's card. Now, boy, did this family, they love champagne and they love cards.
They love a card.
So we start with Tony's card. And Lisa's definitely written a little poem on the inside of this one.
She has. Well, first of all, the outside of the card, I think it says like 21 today.
Yeah.
It's a 21st
There's a 21
card.
banner behind them as well. She's having fun. Lisa got that in Clinton's,
like?
didn't she? And yeah, this is where we get a full David Brent from The Office scene as Tony's reading out the poem that Lisa's written and she's standing behind, mouthing along the words to the poem. It's like, oh, Lisa. I didn't write down the lyrics to this poem, but...
No.
Lyrics to a poem?
Lyrics to words to a poem?
Yeah, I know they just call him... They keep calling it Tony's Taxis, don't they? Or Taxi Tony?
Well, that's what... Yeah, I don't understand that. Although, wait a minute.
Tony's Transport?
Tony's... This might make sense.
What goes with you saying that your friend got driven around Manchester by Tony one night?
Yeah.
Tony's Taxis.
Tony's Taxis.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, they're having fun, aren't they? I tell you what, they are all made for each other.
This scene is the most energy I've seen from any of them as well. Like bar the Mr. Miyagi joke and the computer at the shopping centre. They're all just like, I mean, by the time it gets to Jan's card, they're at like a fever pitch, aren't they? She shows the front of that card, that like kind of just gold, you know, just like a gold embossed like vase of flowers on it. They were like, woo! Just like having the time of their fucking life at Jan's card. Especially when Lisa thinks that, you know, Michelle drew a pair of tits inside it.
I know, it's
thought they were boobs.
They're balloons. Oh. It's also, that's slightly shady, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. She's like, why would Michelle draw? And Michelle's not there as well, of course. Notably
Michelle's not
absent.
there. I wonder where she is. She thinks
She's doing that. She's on that one obligation, isn't she? That brunch, the hollandaise sauce brunch.
Oh, well, yeah, she did that. Do you think she's off, like, shooting, like, the Got to Have Your Love video in South Africa?
I know, wasn't it done in Barbados? Dun, 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 dun. I love that song. Got to have your love. That was her bit, wasn't it?
Every time I see your eyes inside my heart. It doesn't have
any lyrics to that song.
Like a diamond heist.
It does.
Situation going on.
Yeah, it's like a South African / Caribbean, who knows? Yeah, diamond heist, and they're all like by a pool. I find a way to get into your heart. Why I got to have your love. Let's watch the music video for that when we're done with this.
Okay, great. So they have the cards. Then I tell you what, I'm just so glad Johnny and Lisa thought to build that conservatory because they've got great use out of it. Because I don't know if you remember the conservatory from the episode, I think episode 2.
Yeah, where they had the anniversary.
They're back in it.
That's where the family gets together and drinks champagne and looks at cards, isn't
That's
it?
where she built it. So they're in the conservatory. They're all doing a cheers around that circular glass table. There's that happy 21st birthday sign in the background.
I made a quick note at this point, there was a weird shot of Ant's girlfriend, and I wrote, I don't trust sexy Ant's girlfriend. I think that might be because I'm jealous. Did you get that picture I sent you of him and Lisa in like Dubai like a couple of years ago?
And
he
him-
looks great.
He looks exactly the same.
Yeah, sexy. I just pulled the weirdest face at you as I did that.
just did
I've
some,
never
like-
waggled my eyebrows at someone like
Like a
suggestively.
wow, wow,
Yeah,
wow, 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 wow.
like I'm in a Carry On movie. Sorry, I really lost myself there.
Okay, back to the conservatory.
Okay.
So, they do a toast for the videos because
To the
tomorrow,
videos!
to the videos, because tomorrow they're going to shoot the videos. But Lisa's like, talking of the videos,
Oh yeah, she's so pleased. with
I've
herself.
got the CD of Electric, and she pulls out like I don't know, just one of those CDR CDs
in a paper sleeve.
in a paper sleeve, and everyone's like, "Ooh!" She hands it to Ant. She goes, "DJ Ant."
Yeah, she's in her element in this conservatory, isn't she?
Then DJ Ant gets out the conservatory boombox.
Yeah, it's very almost like a micro boombox, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not a full boombox. There's not two speakers on that.
I'm very surprised they don't have some sort of more elaborate sound system in that house.
Yeah, it seems like they'd have a central thing with speakers in each room. Even in those days, that technology did exist.
So-
anyway,
They play Electric on the boombox. Everyone has a little groove to it.
yeah, there's a lot of like bopping around. They're like, oh, this is fun. This is fun. This is where I saw Sexy Ant's girlfriend was like, she's getting into it a little too much. I felt like she was mocking Lisa.
Well, at the end, she says to Lisa, "I love that descending harmony."
What does she know about it?
Don't know.
Descending harmony.
Well, she does know that Lisa's Queen of Harmonies.
Yeah.
Harmony Queen.
And then did you see the shot of the other brother? He's also sexy.
The one who's got like slightly greasy hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's attractive. I actually think Andy might be the least attractive of the three brothers, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
He's 2005 attractive, but actually probably the least attractive now.
I would say he's middle attractive.
Oh, so you think it goes Ant, Andy, other brother?
Yeah.
Oh.
There's also a couple of great exterior shots of the conservatory.
Yeah, in
lit
full
up.
swing.
Full swing. And then their outside lighting, I don't know if Lisa just hadn't really, maybe she was away on the Steps tour when they were doing the outside of the house. It's just floodlights. Like two really alarming floodlights. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, there's no subtle uplighting happening outside that property, is there?
No. Next scene. Well, this is really the final scene of the
Yeah.
episode, and it's big.
The video shoots.
Well, 20 grand's been spent on this.
Yeah, I wrote the video shoot and then put an S in brackets, parentheses.
Oh, I wrote double video shoot. So, Andy's up first.
Yeah.
So for his video, he's wearing a sleeveless burgundy, kind of shiny button-down shirt.
Yeah,
It's very him.
yeah. I would have wanted that back in the day.
I would have wanted it, but never dared go near it just because it wouldn't have fitted me at all.
Yeah, me neither.
I bet Burton's
Yeah.
would do a good one. So wait a minute. What's confusing here is we don't hear the song that
No,
Andy's recording.
I wrote that down.
At all. I went looking for it online.
Me too.
Couldn't find it anywhere.
Me too. It's been scrubbed from the internet.
Well, I think, and we'll get to it, I don't think he ever released the song because of what is proposed by
Yeah.
Concept Records coming later in the episode. So,
So Lisa arrives
she sure does.
in her lovely tracksuit bottoms and her vest top.
Yeah, she's dressed down,
And then
isn't she?
this is kind of quite montagey, this bit, isn't it? It's like a lot of him recording his video and Lisa like flicking through the racks of outfits. At one point she picks up a very strange red garment with a lot of gold like tassels hanging off it, and she's like, oh, I like this one.
Mm-hmm. And
And then they show her like this kind of fluffy jacket and she's like, oh no, not that one.
Not sure about that one.
Yeah, and then we see her in a short red dress.
Which I love.
Yeah.
She wears this really fun short red dress playsuit thing. She looks great in
Yeah,
it.
but she doesn't settle on that. She settles on something pretty awful. So so then Tony's talking to Andy, isn't he? And he talks about how Lisa was complaining about his driving on the way up there.
Oh, I totally didn't notice that.
Yeah, he's like, oh, Lisa was going on it, but she's like, we're not going to make it there in time, Dad.
Tony the taxi.
Taxi's Tony's transport.
Taxi's Tony's transport's taken to the road. There's also a moment where Lisa's getting her ready, getting her makeup done, and it must be like a PR person or someone says, oh, you need to get you and Johnny out and about, get you seen. And Lisa's like, yeah, we're a very private couple. So he's obviously thinking,
Yeah.
to help promote everything as
Yeah.
a couple, you should get out and about there. Me should be up for that. Mish and Andy
Yeah, exactly.
should be all over that.
I'm like, well, I'm surprised they're not getting papped at that tapas roast restaurant that they were at last week. I don't know.
Square bowls.
Okay.
So,
So Lisa comes and unveils her look, and she's talking about it with someone, and she says, I think it's very sexy without being, here are my tits.
She also, we don't want to look past the fact that her two backing dancers sort of look like the Cheeky Girls as well.
they do.
They're dressed like space-age Cheeky Girls. Lot of fun. Tell you what, 10K goes a long way. Her whole vibe for this video is very like Austin Powers Fembot. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, it is.
Like silver corset top. She's wearing some very like long above the knee pirate boots.
Lace up pirate boots.
with a sparkly buckle, some very modest hot pants, or sparkly top, and then giant hair as well.
Yeah, you see them clipping a lot of hair onto the top of that head, don't you?
Mm-hmm. God, it must be heavy. It must be hot.
So she starts recording her kind of her little scenes for the video, and we have a very uncomfortable exchange between Tony and someone that I referred to as a makeup gay.
Oh yeah, I wrote gay stylist, but sure, either or.
He goes, oh, I just can't believe that's my daughter. I'm like, okay, Tony, fine, just keep it calm. And then you hear him say, oh, I'm just going to take a picture, take a snap. We haven't got many pictures like this for the family albums. I'm like, Tony.
And then he says,
I know you can't believe it's your daughter, but it is.
And then he's like, I think Johnny, her husband, would be very pleased.
And then I kind of didn't catch, but the makeup gay said something which also sounded pervy, and the two of them go like...
They make a joke about Johnny's.
Yeah.
So he says, I think husband Johnny would be very pleased. And the makeup gay's like, oh, I think, a few Johnnies would be pleased. And they're like...
Didn't enjoy that moment at all.
No.
Don't like seeing Tony in that light. That's the same light that we saw at the Miss Wales pageant, Don't like that side of him.
Or when he kissed that manicurist.
Oh, yeah, exactly. When he just tried to kiss that manicurist on the lips. She's just like, excuse me, I don't know who you are.
Hello. Mwah. Sorry, who are you?
Who are you?
Meanwhile, Lisa's performing in an orange egg chair.
Yeah, she is. And you see just being lightly turned around by like a PA behind her.
Touch me. I'm electric. Turn the egg. So just before that, Nath is also talking to Tone, and he's saying that they're worried they don't have enough time to promote the record. She's like, everything's come together. We got the song, we got the record, we got the music, we got the music video. I just don't know if we've got enough time to turn this into a hit. And Tony's like, well, they'll have to go all out. And then it ends with Tony saying, for God's sake, you've got to do something.
Yeah, that was a weird line, wasn't it?
Very
dramatic. Got to do something.
Then
Nathan gets a phone call
Nathan
from
gets
Max.
a phone call, yes. Okay, but before that happens, while he's getting the phone call, I just want to show you something.
Okay.
So they are, he gets a phone call. Meanwhile, Andy is sitting around with one of the dancers, okay? And they're just like having a chin wag, Andy and the dancer. Look at the...
Yeah, their body language is very strange. He's got his legs like open and her leg is between his legs and they're like just chit-chatting.
And they're both like face towards each other. I tell you what, if Mish saw that...
she'd be clawing that dancer's face off.
That cheeky girl would be destroyed. So yeah, he's just chatting away and the cheeky girl dancer's just like playing with her lip and like looking at him.
She gets called into the shoot straight after that to play the guitar, I think.
I think so. Not that it's plugged in. So... Then Nath gets a phone call.
Yeah.
Talk us through what's going on,
Well,
please.
so he gets this phone call and then we see him just going back and he's very stressed and like, running his hands through his hair and he's like, oh God. And you can tell basically he's got some news that he really doesn't want to have to pass on. And he's got that body language of like, God, maybe if I just sit here and like have a slight panic about it, it'll go away. He's biting his nails, looks good in his lovely polo shirt. So he goes over to Andy. He's like, let's go and have a chat outside. And they try and go through one of those big sliding doors and he can't quite open it. So they have to just squeeze through the gap. So he has this news to tell Andy, and the news is that Max over at Concept has said that they want to release his single the same day as Lisa's and do like a Scott Lee versus Scott Lee.
Yeah, and this is the most kind of conviction and spine and anything we've ever seen from Andy, because Andy immediately is like, no, absolutely what?
I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. I believe I referred to him as a sniveling weasel in another episode that we did, and he's definitely not in this moment. He's right as well. Like, it's not a good idea.
Really?
Or do you think it would have actually driven up some interest?
Well, I was going to ask you, I was like, isn't there something fun? Couldn't they have done it in like a fun way?
In like a Girls Aloud versus One True Voice kind of way?
Yeah, but like brother versus sister, come on, like goading each other on, and then like slightly trash talking each other in a lovable way.
I think that what you're saying is a great idea, and I think that's what Max and Nicola over at Concept thought was going to happen. My worry would be that they wouldn't be able to pull that off. Not because of logistics, because of the two of them. They don't have enough personality between them to pull off a fun,
Playful fight.
Yeah.
Also, they're not at the same level.
Yeah.
Like, Lisa's more well-known. He is, although his star is on the rise.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that the idea...
No,
would,
it's a good idea. I'm not sure it would work. Or it would have worked.
It is also, format-wise, it is a bit confusing if they did that, because it's like, oh, boy v girl, brother v sister. Also, side note, Lisa has to get to the top 10.
Yeah.
It's like quite a few layers.
It dilutes the kind of, the action.
Yeah. I just wonder if Andy's just mainly nervous and doesn't want to do it because he knows he'd lose.
Yeah. And he doesn't want to look like a fool.
Yeah. So,
Oh, Lord.
that's it.
And what have we got coming up in the preview?
Oh, let me tell you what we've got coming up. Okay, next time on episode 6, we see Lisa and Johnny. They're sitting there in the kitchen, just off the conservatory, and they're flicking through the papers. They're discussing their relationship and the fact that clearly in the tabloids, there's been a story about
Him having an affair.
and Lisa kicking him out.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you know what? They're both very adamant to each other.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'd never do that. And that didn't happen. And then Lisa says, well, we'll find out who the little bitch is. But it's also like, who? Because it's not as if someone's leaked something that's true.
Yeah. Or maybe it's one of those, maybe she's talking about the journalist.
Oh.
Calling her a little bitch.
Then we also see that Lisa's going to play electric to Nana. So well, no wonder she's got the boombox. It's portable.
She's like, what do you think of she say, what do you think of the song? And Nana's like, answer the phone.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Nana, what you like? But seriously.
She can't hear. How funny.
Funny, but seriously. Tell me what you think about the song. Also, there's a scene, I don't know who's in it. I think it's Johnny. He's talking to someone, and the someone's like, well, I've not heard the song on Radio 1.
Oh, yeah.
And then Johnny's like,
yeah.
no, she won't get Radio 1. And then the guy says, what about Leicester Sound? And Johnny says, no, I don't think she'll be on that either. And then the final next time little sequence is Max saying to Nicola, well, you know, who does buy Lisa Scott Lee records? And Nicola says, well, that's my question since the beginning.
Savaged by Nicola again.
I mean, how much do you want to watch that episode, though?
So excited. So, what was your thought on the totally of all of this one?
Clearly, you're very good at naming the episodes.
Puns. Shit puns.
Shit puns. Because mine is more serious and mine is totally set up to fail.
Yeah. Yours is very factual.
Very factual. What have you got for us?
Mine was totally bugly.
I mean, that's it. Episode 5 is totally bugly.
Well, I like the way that we do this now. It's that yours are very good and descriptive, and mine is stupid. I think it's like we found our niche.
Perfect. So that is episode 5. Thank you as ever for listening. Hey, you've got an episode of Your Uncle America coming out this Wednesday.
Oh God, it's Halloween. I got scared.
Oh, you got spooked. You got spooked from the Halloween. Oh, shit, the Halloween special that's coming out. Oh, as ever, get in touch on Instagram. Get in touch on Twitter. We're in the 40s now with our
Fucking
Twitter
hell!
followers.
I mean, we're like Katy Perry in 2009.
What we like Jules, drop us an email.
Please do.
Like Jules. Watch along on YouTube, and we will see you very soon.
We've got how many? 3 more weeks to go.
3 more episodes of Totally Scotty. What we're going to do next?
I have no idea. Bye.
I've got to be honest, I think that a lot of the time they don't seem to like you.
There's a lot of hard work and it's blood, sweat and tears. I don't know, if I suddenly get a guitar out, is it believable?
23.
Well, that's really shit.